You want to know the moment I realized the HOA president had completely lost it? It wasn't when she threatened to fine me over a treehouse, or even the time she called the squirrels as character witnesses. No, it was right there in the courtroom with the bailiff saying, "All rise," and Janice Felton, the queen bee herself, marching up with a spray bottle like she was on The Price is Right. She actually announced right there in front of the judge, and God and everybody, "Your Honor." I brought evidence waving that bottle in the air, like she'd just spun the big wheel and landed on jackpot. She said this is the exact solution he used on that illegal playhouse. And before any of us could figure out what the heck she was doing, she snapped off the child lock, spun around, and sprayed my 8-year-old daughter Lena straight in the face. I swear my brain just short-circuited. Lena screamed, clutching her eyes. Her coloring book hit the floor. Every adult in the room went into full-on panic mode. The bailiff lunged, my lawyer yelled, I vaulted over the chair like I was running back in high school again. The clerk screamed, "Call EMS." And then that smell hit sharp and chemical, like vinegar mixed with whatever they used to clean gas station restrooms. Janice, still holding the bottle, just stumbled backward, looking absolutely stunned at what she'd done. "It's just diluted acid. It's harmless," she hollered like that somehow made it better. And then the judge's voice, cool, deadly, cut right through all the chaos. "Bailiff, take that bottle and get her into custody." Everyone froze because in that second, Janice finally noticed who was up there on the bench in the black robe, my wife. Yeah, plot twist, my wife Melissa is a county judge. I'm Caleb Romero, and up until a few months ago, the most exciting thing about me was my unhealthy barbecue obsession and the fact that I collect vintage game consoles. But we moved into Cedarbrook Estates, where apparently being interesting means keeping your grass the exact shade of regulation green and minding your business, unless it's posted in the HOA newsletter. Now, the HOA is Janice's whole personality. Her hobbies are sending threatening emails, quoting the bylaws like scripture, and patrolling the streets in a golf cart that's probably more souped up than my old Mustang. Melissa handles everything from DUIs to my cousin stole my lawnmower type cases, but we have a strict rule work drama doesn't come home, and neighborhood drama stays out of the courtroom. Or it's supposed to. That worked fine until I built a treehouse for Lena. Not even a fancy one. Just a wooden platform with a railing and a rope ladder in the old oak in our backyard. No neon paint, no pirate flag, just a place for a kid to be a kid. Lena named it Castle Oak. Janice called it a 2-story accessory structure and a threat to property values and sightlines. She showed up the very afternoon we finished at clipboard, already open, saying, "Mr. Romero, you cannot erect vertical structures in clear view of the greenbelt without architectural approval." I told her it was a treehouse for my kid. She snapped, "It's a code violation." Section 7.4A, sheds play structures unapproved. I just smiled and said I'd submit the form, but I wasn't tearing anything down. That was my first mistake, believing in reason. From that moment, Janice declared war. It started with violation notices, unauthorized elevated structure, visual encroachment, each one with a new fine, like she had a spreadsheet for creative punishment. Then came the emails. "Dear residents, Mr. Romero has constructed a dangerous platform posing a risk to children and wildlife." Wildlife. She actually tried to get the squirrels on her side. Pretty soon she was out at the greenbelt with a tape measure taking pictures of my yard. My Ring camera caught her leaning over my fence, muttering, "I know a code violation when I see one. I sent a cease and desist for trespassing." She replied with the covenants all highlighted like a high schooler prepping for finals. When the fines didn't work, she started a rumor campaign telling neighbors it'd collapse, that it violated their privacy, that I hadn't pulled permits. Permits, by the way, not required here. I checked twice. Then she sent the letter that crossed the line, take down the treehouse in 14 days, or the HOA would go to court, collect all fines and legal fees. And my favorite, report me for child endangerment if Lena kept using it. Now, I'm the kind of dad who overbuilds everything. I used real hardware and engineer's DIY guide, double-checked every bolt. Lena even wore a helmet the first week just in case. Janice calling me a bad parent. That was almost funny. Almost. So I wrote back, "Feel free to ask a judge to weigh in." Well, she did. She brought in the HOA's lawyer and filed in small claims court, demanding I tear down the treehouse, pay thousands in fines, and confess to reckless endangerment. I didn't tell Melissa at first. Conflict of interest, right? I just got my own lawyer, handed him my HOA horror folder, and thought maybe, just maybe, things would finally calm down. Wrong. Janice went nuclear. Her lawsuit read like a thriller. My unauthorized structure was a fall hazard, a predatory vantage point, and my personal favorite treated with unknown corrosive substances. That last part, I'd used an over-the-counter deck cleaner before sealing the wood. Janice, though, called it acid. In court filing, she listed Exhibit C sample of the chemical used. We thought she'd bring a bottle or maybe a photo. We did not expect her to bring a loaded spray bottle and act like this was a live demonstration. That's how we got to the day in court. My attorney and I were at the table. Lena was in the front row with my sister, couldn't get a sitter. Bailiff called the case. Judge hadn't come in. Janice strutted in, brandishing her evidence. She whispered, "This is what he rubbed all over that death trap, loud enough for everyone to hear." The bottle read, "Calcium lime rust remover. Industrial strength, dilute before use." My lawyer just muttered, "Why is she holding that in here?" Then the judge walked in. The bailiff said, "Please rise." Janice was so busy being smug, she didn't look at the judge's face. "Good morning," the judge said. "Cedarbrook Estates, HOA versus Romero." And that's when I recognized the voice, locked eyes with Melissa, and saw her mouth twitch. Surprise, then something steelier. Melissa's poker face snapped into place. We did the official introductions. Nobody said anything about us being married. Janice saw her opening, held up the bottle, declared she had a live demonstration, and started twisting the nozzle. "Ma'am, that will remain." Melissa tried, but Janice didn't wait. She turned and tried to spray in our direction. The bottle slipped. The spray went sideways right at Lena and my sister. Lena yelped, colored pencils everywhere. Melissa was off the bench before anyone could react, shouting for water, for the bailiff, for EMTs. The bailiff wrestled the bottle away as Janice kept insisting, "It's diluted. She's being dramatic." Melissa's voice dropped low and deadly. "You just sprayed a child with a chemical in my courtroom." Janice stammered, "It was an accident. She shouldn't have been there." My lawyer rushed Lena to the restroom. The paramedics came. Lena was scared, but okay, thank God. Melissa turned to the bailiff. "Get Miss Felton in cuffs. We're done playing HOA games," Janice squeaked. "You can't." Melissa just said, "Yes, I can." And in that second, Janice finally read the nameplate on the bench, Honorable Melissa Romero. She finally realized whose family she'd just attacked. Melissa called a recess, stepped off the bench to avoid any claims of bias, but didn't stop being a judge. Bailiff put Janice in a side room, hands cuffed up front. Courthouse security took the spray bottle. The paramedic said Lena would be fine, just mild irritation. Melissa came back, no robe, just a blazer, eyes icy. "EMS says your daughter's okay," she told me. I nodded, still shaken. She turned to Janice's lawyer. "Your client just assaulted a minor in a courtroom with a chemical she brought as evidence. That's not just contempt, it's a separate criminal matter." The attorney looked like he wanted to disappear. "Your Honor, I didn't know she had that." "You do now," Melissa said. "I'm referring this for criminal charges. At minimum, misdemeanor assault and reckless endangerment." Janice started. "Your Honor, I'm the HOA president. This is all a misunderstanding." Melissa shut that down. "Ma'am, you sprayed my child with a caustic solution in my courtroom. Your position on a cul-de-sac committee will not save you. You could have heard a pin drop." And then the final sledgehammer, Melissa recused herself, saying, For the record, I am recusing from the civil matter of Cedarbrook Estates HOA versus Romero due to a newly discovered conflict. The defendant is my husband. Janice's eyes lit up, thinking she'd won, but then Melissa continued. However, my recusal from the civil case does not affect my authority to sanction conduct that occurred in my courtroom while I was presiding. We are scheduling an immediate contempt hearing on Miss Felton's behavior today. Janice's face absolutely priceless. In less than an hour, the whole story flipped. Our HOA's favorite busybody was under criminal investigation for spraying a kid in open court. The narrative went from reckless dad with dangerous treehouse to unhinged HOA president assaults judge's child. Power shifted from the HOA newsletter to the district attorney's office real fast. About a month later, we're back in court. Different judge, no connections, no patience for nonsense. Janice gets offered a plea. Plead guilty to misdemeanor assault, due probation, anger management, restraining order, and no jail time. Janice, classic Karen, refuses, insisting it was an accident, and the real danger is my treehouse. So we went to hearing. We brought photos. Contractors report county confirmation, no permit required. Even security video of Janice bragging about her acid demonstration. Their side had fuzzy photos, Janice's aesthetic monologue, and a CCR printout. Judge needed maybe 6 seconds. Civil case HOA can't demand the removal of a safe, typical treehouse. Fines void. HOA pays my attorney's fees. Then he turned to Janice's personal mess. Security footage. Panic paramedics. Janice waving the bottle. No question. You brought an industrial cleaning solution into a courtroom, declared it acidic, and sprayed it to make a point. A child was injured, thankfully, not seriously. Your lack of remorse is astonishing. He found her guilty misdemeanor assault and contempt of court. Sentence 1 year probation, anger management, mental health eval, restraining order banned from HOA boards, and a fine equal to a year's HOA dues. 50 hours of community service at a nonprofit for kids. Final nail. As part of probation, you are prohibited from possessing or using chemical cleaning agents above household level without supervision. Janice, the HOA chemical enforcer, legally grounded from her beloved cleaning supplies. My lawyer whispered, that might hurt her worse than the fine. And you know what? He was probably right. Janice just sat there frozen, realizing that after years of terrorizing the neighborhood over paint swatches and deck stains, she couldn't even buy the good toilet bowl cleaner without a chaperone. So here's my question for you. Was that justice? Did the punishment fit the crime, or should folks like Janice get more than just a taste of their own medicine? Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you'd have done, or if you've ever tangled with an HOA tyrant like her. And hey, don't forget to hit like, share your story, and let's talk about what real community justice should look like.